Good morning, everyone. Today is March the 22nd, 2021. This is StockCast, your pre-market show. I am your host, James Mason. With me is Todd Derby. Todd, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I am doing well. So, Todd, it looks like once again we have another pre-market that has very little news overall. We have a few runners, but man, lately it's just been slim pickings.
It has been the last 2 weeks, actually.
Yeah. So it's making it tough to get some of those multi-point bangers pre-market, unless if you're already in those trades. But hey, you can only work with what the market gives you.
That's correct.
So let's take a quick look at probably the largest pre-market runner that we're going to have today. This is ticker SPRT. So here's the chart for it. You can see this thing has been pushing up pretty rapidly here pre-market. And the reason why is there is a merger deal. And at this point, this thing is probably going to start to top out right in here. So the news is, let's see, Support.com shareholders will own 8% of Greenidge's stock in consideration for Support.com's operating and other assets, and to be estimated $33 million of cash expected to be on Support.com's balance sheets at closing. So, yeah, that's it.
That Greenwich Life Sciences.
What's that?
Is the ticker is Greenwich Life Sciences?
No, Greenidge, GRENIDGE.
I'm going to look up the value of.
So, one of the reasons why we started a little bit late today is we've been trying to dig into this to kind of get a little bit more information on this deal, but right now it's really just been digging through filings and whatnot.
So this is a good example of it looks like it's a runner, but I have no idea what that merger deal means. So I don't know. It's going, and when we first looked at it, it was around 420, 430, and we talked about it, but not knowing what the top side is the merger deal mean it's worth $5 a share, $8 a share, $10 a share? Don't know. So until I know that, it's a no play for me.
Yeah. And that same thing for me. That's why I didn't even bother chasing it. You can't really gauge these things if you don't have that information. And really though, once these merger deals top out, that's it. If you ever looked at a chart after a merger deal and you just see it flatline after that, that's what happens. So we'll see what this brings about right here. For me, this ticker is a no-go in both directions. One, I'm not going to chase it at this point on the long side, and I'm definitely not going to try to short it. It'd be stupid to short this.
Yeah.
You're going to just lose.
Yeah, you just don't know what's going on.
Oh.
You just don't know what's going on with the ticker, so it's you're just rolling the dice.
So this is ticker SPRT. So the next one is ticker CLVS. So this is one that I am watching. Overall, the share structure on it really isn't too stellar. But see, the last update for the short interest, and I'm sure whoever's shorting this overall is already covered. So 36.2 million shares being shorted. Percent of the float, 35%. And days to cover, 4.5. Share structure, outstanding, 104.5 million. Float, 102 million. So we do have a decent amount of shares out there, but it's not outrageous. And if you dig through their news, you can, over the last 2 weeks, you can see a couple of Form 4s, and just some clinical news. But let's look at the daily chart right here real quick. So we can see on Friday, just this bullish day, ran up. So we had a gap up to 640 and we ran up to 895 and then it pulled back, obviously. But what I'm looking for here, you can see this on the 5-minute chart. What I want to see it break above $9 before I will make an entry. And my target price is going to be about $11.60 right in there. And that is ticker CLVS. So break above $9 for me, and my target price will be $11.60. And the reason why, looking on the daily chart here, if you can see my crosshairs, I'm coming up. You can see these daily candles, how they come down and they bounce. That's what I'm looking to take right in there. And I'll just draw a line for y'all. So I'm a little bit higher than what I was trying to go for, but you can still see it. See that line going through there? That's where that strong resistance is, and that's where I'm looking to take this, if I can get that set up to happen. And this is ticker CLVS, and there are a lot of eyes on this right now. So let's see what we have going on in the comment section. So good morning, everyone. Go ahead and drop those tickers for us. So Brian, yes, sir. ACER, ACER. That thing took off running. Let me pull it up right here. So when this thing took off running, I wasn't even at my computer to even chase it. And got the notification on it, and by the time I saw the notification, it was already too late. So ACER with a nice pre-market push. We'll see what this one can become later today. So BCRX, Todd and I were actually talking about that one pre-market as well. Pull something up real quick on it. All right. So I'm not completely sure what the full catalyst is on this. There's a ton of people talking about it, but coming out into the pre-market, this thing just had that quick pop of volume of almost 9,000 shares. And then just as quickly as it done that, it pulled back. You can see how it just got spotty afterwards, but now we're starting to get a little volume in here. So this one might be worth watching. Again, I haven't really dug into this one entirely to really understand what the catalyst is here. But hold on a second. So once we get around that $16 range, if we can push up to that high, we will start seeing some strong resistance. But breaking over 17, this thing could experience, parabolic move, and breaking above 17, if we could even do that. The next resistance will be around that $19 range. But first, we need to really see what's going to go on here in the market. We need some more volume to kick up in this. And it's not really that it's a low float. This thing has 177.5 million shares outstanding. So again, if y'all know the catalyst behind this, this is something that I haven't really had a chance to dig into, but nonetheless, it is moving up here pre-market.
Take a look at HOFV.
right, so back on March 11th to see what looks to be like some petty news, nothing major. So ticker HOFV. So short interest, last update, 4.3 million shares, 7.4% of the float. Outstanding shares, 83.2 million. The float, 58.1 million. I've traded this. What's that, Todd?
I was going to say last Thursday, the volume picked up, and then on Friday, the volume really jumped. So I didn't think the volume warranted the little bit of news on March 11th because it was a delayed jump. So something's going on or something's brewing, it looks like.
Yeah. I've traded this one in the past, and I really didn't make too much on it from what I remember. But as of right now, I'm really not liking the setup overall, especially since I can't find any legitimate catalyst on it, and I don't want to go off of a 2-week-old fluff article. But
well, for me, it'd be watching. I think there's a price breaker around 516 would be potential but I want to see some news catalyst to help drive that.
Yeah. So right now, just from looking at this ticker pre-market and how it's just slowly selling off, for me, this is kind of looking more like a short. I don't think there's really gonna be much to pick off this on the short side. But what I would have to wait for is to see that white line, the 9 EMA line, physically cross over the 200 EMA line. Just from looking at the setup, support's going to be between 380 and 350. So again, to the short side, I mean, that is kind of where I'm leaning on this, but there's really not much to pick off it.
There's not much range there.
So let's see what else we have in the comments.
Take a look at MRKR. Good morning, Johnny. Thank you for the $4 super sticker.
All right, so MRKR is on my pre-market scanner, and it's really up there off of nothing. So there's some news from March the 19th and then the 18th, some Form 4s. But really, this one just kind of looks like shorts covering. Last update on the short interest, 3.2 million shares, 5% of the float. Shares outstanding, 83 million. Float, 63.6 million. So, yeah, to me, if we look at the daily chart, this just looks like, shorts trying to get out of it and covering. I mean, their days to cover is 5.5 days, meaning they had 5.5 days worth of shares being shorted than that average volume. So they got caught in that bear trap, and they're looking for a way to get out, and it's causing this one to go up. So that's what I see for ticker MRKR. Let's see. Ticker, let's talk about SNMP. So this one I called out a while back. It started to push up, and what I do, how I trade, I always move my stop loss up. So after it made its initial run, started pulling back. I got stopped out for profit, and then it just kind of went back down. I re-entered again at $1.35, and then it went down and hit my stop loss at 1. So I pretty much just really my profits, I exchanged it and really just ended up flat overall on this trade for the year. But this ticker right here, I'm kind of watching this overall. I'm waiting for an entry again once it breaks back above $1.35 and see what we can do from then on. This thing, what caused it to have that gap down back here is during that time, that's when that Saudi macro event took place where they were readjusting their oil and gas supplies. So that kind of knocked its momentum off.
Got it. Someone's asking if DUOT is still a trade.
Let's see. So for an entry, this one I called out a few weeks ago. That entry, it's already, that threshold has already been met. I wouldn't jump in this to chase it at this point. If you're already in it, go ahead and have your target prices and stop losses in place and ride it out.
Someone's asking about NEOS. It was delisted. I think they had a deal where they were being acquired or something, and their ticker name is going to change. I think that's why it's delisted.
Let's see. I'm just pulling up some filings on that one to see. So just quickly hitting the filing. I do see something about like a merger, but again, because I'm live, I don't have time to really dig into it. So this is one that I haven't really been keeping up with, but
we talked about it before. It was actually a ticker I've traded, so I was on my watch list. And I think the merger deal I can't remember who the merger deal with is or who's acquiring them, but basically it was the NEO price, the break-even price was around 98 cents, and I think it took a little pop over like $1.35 or so. So there was a little FOMO in that.
Interesting. So how about Cathie Wood giving her increasing her target price on Tesla?
So we just heard this morning that Cathie Wood announced a target price of $3,000 by 2025, and that's more than double the price from $1,400 in 2024. So crazy.
Yeah, like I'm just so curious how her and her company come up with these valuations, really, these projections.
Well, let's do this interview. I can't remember who was doing the interview, but Cathie was speaking, and it was the first time I really listened to her speak and talk about her company and talk about the research team and talk about a little bit about her work culture. And someone who I'm probably going to try to listen to a little more. I was impressed by her, how she talked about her company and their goals and some of the things. So, and clearly she's nailed it with Tesla. I mean, I think ARK has done very, very well, excellently well with their relationship with Tesla. And she talked about that a little bit in her interview about how they were one of the early players, and when it took a dip down into the 300, they actually doubled down and invested more money at that time.
Yeah. The thing is, though, and this, I'm not taking a shot on her at all. Obviously, and it'd be silly of me to even take a shot on her. She's obviously a legitimate pro at what she does. So I'm not taking a shot on her, but it's easy to look like a genius and to make certain call outs like this in a strong bullish market with a strong bullish stock like Tesla. But at some point, I mean, we've already seen Tesla pull back some and let some air out. But man, I still think there's a lot left for Tesla to let out, to be honest, especially over the next year to come. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tesla in the 300 range again. And I'm not saying that she's wrong. I mean, she's making a projection for 2025. So it's just hard to really see the share value in Tesla being, $3,000+ as it stands right now. Like, they need to really, really increase some output there.
Well, you're talking about a double in the next 4 years. That's a lot. That's all. I mean, that's a lot. So the other thing that was mentioned in this interview was about how the EV market is going to be flooded by all the big automakers. They're all making a changeover towards that. And will Tesla still keep its sharehold, or will they be a leader in that? And you can project in it, making some assumptions, but we really don't know.
I hate to say it, I don't think so. Tesla is obviously a renegade, but if you look at history with renegades always come out swinging, and they lay the foundation for everything, and then they die off. That tends to be the history for anyone who's a renegade. They'll make history, lay that foundation, and then the established ones come in and innovate on top of that and then carry it on. So with those large automakers, I mean, their reach is so far already. They just have so many more resources. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Tesla's Tesla, and I love Tesla, but I mean, right now they do have the edge because they created it. But hey, at some point, those large automakers are going to catch up, and they'll figure it out for what works with them, and they're going to run with it. And at that point, like Todd said, there's going to be so many EV companies in here doing their thing. It's really just going to drown out and dilute any kind of hype that's in this industry.
Yeah. Someone asked the question, who can buy Tesla? And a lot of people can. You can buy, there's actually a trading platform out there that you can buy partial shares. So if you want to put $100 in a Tesla, you can buy a partial share of Tesla. So Tesla has a lot of young traders that put money into it. I've seen some great funny videos where people talk about being a full-time trader, and the videos about how they have $100 or $500 in the Tesla. I mean, that's the only trade they've done.
Mm-hmm. So. And other than that, like, you can't tell them anything about it. So if it doesn't support their theories, you can't talk to them.
Right. One more question here, and we'll probably get ready to wrap up. Somebody asking a question: is HOFV HOTH dead? No, it's not dead. It's an alert that I put out last week. I'm sitting into it pretty solid, and we're just literally waiting for a catalyst. So this is what I'm just sitting on. So it is not dead.
Looking at the daily chart on it, it is set up for that 9 EMA to cross above that 200 EMA, but once it does that, we should get a pretty nice bullish run at that point. So that is all I have today. Again, there was nothing, literally, for the pre-market, other than just trades moving around for the sake of moving around.
So real quick, someone asked, have we covered, Michael asked the question, have we covered SPRT yet? We didn't recommend, I don't think, neither James or I are in SPRT.
No.
So if you thought we did, apologize.
Yeah, SPRT with that merger deal, I mean, it's already doing its thing. It's already running. And it's just one of those things, like if you weren't in it already, there's no sense of chasing it now.
Oh.
So,
all right.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully the markets will start giving us some good news like in the past, but hey, we can only work with what they give us and just make the best of it. So remember to keep those position sizes small. It will help you control those emotions, and you can let them run a lot more than what you normally would. So appreciate y'all for tuning in today, and we will see y'all in the next one.
Thank you. Goodbye.